Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living on Blockchain. Today, we are speaking to Akshay. He's the CEO of Chimp Exchange, which they're building on 10 blockchain. They are also building another cross-chain DEX on Linear, which is live already. So he's basically working a lot in the DeFi space, and he had a lot of interesting insights about the DeFi space in general and how we see it moving ahead in this particular bull run. I can't wait for you guys to hear this. Let's deep dive right in. Hi, Akshay. Thank you so much for making the time to speak to me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Risha. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. And for our listeners, and just to add some context to the rest of the conversation, can you tell us a little about yourself and how you got into Web3?
Absolutely. So I guess I've been working in a corporate job for the last 6 years in 2016, and I was around that time 2016 when I got to know about blockchain. And I heard of Bitcoin but never dived into it. So in 2016, my interest peaked, and that's when I bought my first Bitcoin and started exploring Web3. And also at the same time, DeFi was just getting started with a lot of things. So at that time, I thought, okay, this is the industry that I would move in. And in 2017, I started working with a couple of projects while I was still working. And at that time, it just grew on me. Maybe you can say I was into marketing, and Web3 marketing is one thing that I started exploring more. And since then, I've been into blockchain and full time started working around 2019.
All right. So there were some projects that you were consulting with earlier.
Yes, that's correct. I was working with a couple of projects because at that time I was just testing my abilities, how much I can put in from my side. So consulting few projects in marketing, and then learned a lot as well from my mistakes, and then kept advising until 2022 to a lot more projects. I've worked with more than 10 plus projects, advise them with marketing on Quest platforms, how they can grow their user base and such.
Lovely. And now, can you tell us a little about Chimp Exchange and what you're building currently? And how did you go from being a consultant to starting something of your own? What was that inflection point?
Yes. So, as in 2022 around, I was also working on my own marketing agency. I had set up my own marketing agency where I was helping other projects. But then it turned out a lot of projects in the 2022 year was just raising money and just dumping it out, and just getting out of the market. And we thought, okay, we as a team we have been experiencing crypto from the last 4 5 years, and we can provide value to the community as well. So we were thinking on the idea in 2022, but we took our time. We and my co-founders, so Rahul and Saurabh, we were three guys who were working on the idea of what could be the one thing that we could work on and provide value to the users. And 2023 around June, we same time, like it's been a year, when we started working on creating an ecosystem where DeFi can become simple. So what we saw was that DeFi was getting complicated with a lot more blockchains. When we started, there was just couple of blockchains in hand, but by 2023, it has 100 plus blockchains, so many DEXs, so many bridges. So we thought it has become complicated. So when the new user comes in, it should be easier for them to onboard Web3. That's when the Chimp ecosystem idea was born, where our vision was to make DeFi simple, safe, and secure. So that's when we started Chimp Exchange. And about Chimp Exchange, I would say we are building the first encrypted DEX. And we are doing that by building it on 10 blockchain, which is the first encrypted L2 blockchain. And Chimp is the first native DEX on 10 blockchain. By that, we provide users a complete encryption in terms of trading, so that their transactions are never being recorded. If their private balances of wallets are never being tracked, so they can trade in complete confidentiality.
All right. Okay. So this is like now that you've given me a little more context. I think you met my co-founder yesterday at the Pivot brunch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he told me
Yes,
a little
yes.
about what you guys are doing. Okay. So can you tell us a little about this is a wonderful coincidence that he met you yesterday and he was telling me yesterday in the evening sometime that you guys are building on 10 blockchain. Can you tell me a little about this chain? Because I think my information here is a little foggy. Can you tell me a little about the chain? What is the advantages of this particular blockchain?
Yes. So there are many. There are, if you see right now, there are 100 plus blockchains which are
Right.
building, and most of them are EVM compatible. But
Hmm.
those are all public blockchains. As you know, that Bitcoin was started because we wanted to move away from the centralized authority that was there, like banks and such. So public blockchains are formed so that you can keep a track of where the transactions are going. We as a community, we wanted that to be implemented within the government, but that didn't happen till now. So, but still, it poses a threat. Instead of providing a blessing, it becomes a threat for the users because as a user, if you are trading regularly and your wallet, gets a hold of someone who can find it on blockchain explorer, they can track your wallet balance, how much balance that you have there you have in multiple blockchains, how much you're trading, where you are trading. So for a new entry level user who is not that much tech prone, so they can get targeted by hackers easily, which is happening right now. If you see right now, billions of dollars already stolen within just 6 months of 2024. And why that happens is because hackers can see your wallet. They can go to the blockchain explorer and find these wallets which are trading more, and they can just target it. Like, let's say for instance, you as a user, you trade on a particular exchange, and then you take out the funds and go to a social platform, let's say, and connect your Twitter account for there. And they're able to see, okay, somehow that, okay, this wallet is connected to this Twitter account, and or maybe this Twitter account has posted about this wallet and the transactions. So they can track who your real identity of that person is, and they can target you, they can target your emails, they can target your phones, which is happening on a daily basis. So that was the reason this from public blockchain 10 was formed. 10 is trying to build the first EVM compatible L2 blockchain, which is completely encrypted from core. So like if you go on 10 blockchain and make a trade, which is right now in testnet, your transaction history is only visible to yourself. Nobody will be able to see your transaction history or anyone else. So that what they're just taking Ethereum and making it encrypted and scaling.
Okay, so it's completely end-to-end encrypted. That would be like its greatest USP, and it
Correct.
is EVM compatible.
Yes, correct.
All right, okay. And so you're building the one of the first exchanges on 10?
Yes,
Would that?
ours is the first one. Also the native
Okay.
DEX on the
All right. Awesome. So now, obviously you've mentioned it yourself. There are many chains, there are many DEXs, and your USP is end-to-end encryption. Can you tell us a little about that end-to-end encryption? I understand obviously that it's not solely your encryption, it's the chain's
yeah,
encryption. But
yeah,
if you could show, shed some light there so that the user feels a little more at ease, because what you
yeah.
said does make sense that hackers do, target certain wallet addresses depending on the kind of transactions that are happening. So this would put traders' minds at ease. And if you could tell us a little about that in perhaps a not so technical way, it would really help.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll put it in a simple words. Like Chimp Exchange works as the basic trading platform in 10. Obviously, the core encryption feature comes from 10. But as Chimp Exchange, we also try not to store any data. So once the mainnet goes live, we will not be storing any of the data. So by design, 10 doesn't provide any data to us as well. So when a user makes a trade on Chimp Exchange, we don't store any information of that particular user, how much they're trading. It all goes to the smart contract, which has the data in it, but it doesn't store any of it. Yeah, the 10 does have data revelation method in terms of like if there is any illicit traders or funds that comes to 10, it can be, go through a DAO if someone challenges that, okay, this particular funds are not came from a right source, so that can be tracked, but that goes through data revelation. But the basic trading that happens on Chimp is where we don't store any data, and that creates an amazing platform for the traders, as uh, only they will be able to see what they're trading and how much balance they have. Plus, even if they have the wallet of anyone else, let's say the 10
Hmm.
Explorer doesn't allow anything to be tracked. Like they don't allow to add any wallet. Even if you are able to somehow get the wallet, and
Hmm.
try to find which transaction detail. The transaction details show encrypted, so you cannot
Oh,
read that transaction details at all. By
okay.
the way, not just a trading platform, we are building a lot more features. Right now, we
Hmm.
have just launched a basic version of the DEX and the testnet. We are working on a lot of features which will provide, like previously, Launchpad is one of the one other thing that we have provided.
Hmm.
We are building a rug-proof launchpad for projects where people, let's say, if you are a project, if you want to do a token IDO sale, public sale for users, and you want to do it completely encrypted, and also users want to invest, but they don't want their wallet to be shared where they're investing, so anything that happens on the previous launchpad will be completely confidential as well, both for both projects and users. And we have a mechanism for the confidential KYC for the projects as well, so that it doesn't happen rug for the users as well. So, but there are other features are in pipeline as well. In time, we will reveal those features, but right now we are at a position where we don't want to reveal those features as being the first text.
Sure. I understand. But this kind of leads me to two questions. I'll start with the first one. You mentioned that if there is some sort of a disparity or somebody takes a particular transaction, then there is a DAO mechanism to figure out the details. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, because as you know, if we go completely, on the encrypted side, if we are not able to get the data somehow, then it becomes a problem as well, which happened with couple of projects in the past. I won't name them, but it happened with the projects which were targeting privacy in the complete sense. But what happened was there was no way to get the data. But there are always malpractices that happens on platforms like these. People try to bring funds which are illegal or some way, do maybe let's say uh, try to launder money or something. That happens as well. We are living in the Web3 world where this happens. So 10 has a mechanism called data revelation, which balances this both thing. So let's say they have a DAO, and through that, if someone's mentions or someone comes into 10, okay, these source of funds we have tracked from this blockchain and which came to 10, and these are not correct source of funds. These are illegal. So what they can do is can raise a issue in DAO, and the community can vote on it, and they have a year to disclose the data of these particular. If the DAO agrees with it, they can move forward and release the details, and which makes a healthy balance of both, so that they make sure that no illicit funds comes to the platform and being traded on it as well.
Right. So for this mechanism to actually work, you would perhaps the chain itself does have access to that data. It's end-to-end encrypted, but it is end-to-end
Yeah.
encrypted uh, for the public perhaps. But the entity, the chain itself, they are able to read these transactions and they have all of these details. Like it's not like a complete end-to-end encryption in that case, correct?
No, it is encrypted. Even the team cannot it wants it, they cannot see it. It
Hmm.
goes to the smart contract if it gets voted out by the DAO. And
Understood.
that gets raised within the DAO as an issue. Okay, that this data is there and this is the transaction details. I haven't gone through the complete technical of it because how it works, because 10 only introduced it a few months back and they're still working on it. By the time they go to mainnet, they will have a complete procedure or a process of how it will work. But I'm sure about it because I got in the conversation with the team a couple of times about data revelation, and they said nobody will have access to the data until it gets disclosed through the data revelation to the smart contract.
Understood. Okay. So considering, you've mentioned that you're not entirely clear on the technical details, maybe we can share some documentation in the podcast description and people can
Absolutely.
go through it, right?
Sure.
Because I'm sure that there are some nerds pretty much like me who have some follow-up
Yeah.
questions and they can go through that. So now to the
Abs-
other question. Yeah, I think, if you could share it or we'll pick it up from the website and we'll put it in. But the other question that I had was about the compliance or the legality. Like, how are you sort of, is there something which is legally, in a gray area when it comes to this, and how are you sort of skirting around it? See, I know the entire decentralized tech in different countries, there are different issues, and most of it, like the policymakers are still, trying to uh,
still catch up, right? So I
Yeah.
understand that a lot of it is in the gray area, but do you have any compliance, like, issues that you have kept in mind that, you're actively trying to work towards so that you don't fall on the other side, and,
Yeah.
with the policymakers?
Yeah. So we do discuss a lot about this, and as a decentralized platform, the major thing is that there is no particular law about it, nor in India nor in other countries. So it has, because the issue happens is when you connect it with the any of the local currency of that country, let's say INR or let's say USDT. So this happens with centralized exchanges a lot, because they start dealing with these currencies, and a lot of scams happen, and then centralized authority is exposed. But obviously, being a decentralized exchange, I can speak for ourselves, where we never touch fiat in any manner, and all the trading that happens is we will always be 100% on crypto. And coming to the confidential and encrypted aspect of it, as I said, we are just a platform which provides an access for people to trade on 10 blockchain using the encryption that they provide. So we won't be storing our single data for users. So even in a case where any of this comes from the authority side, when they require data, they can just directly go to 10 and ask for the data if it's required. I cannot speak for 10, but as a Chimp Exchange, we doesn't come under any of these gray areas, because if there are any rules in the future about DeFi, then surely we will discuss it. But right now, it's all in the air. It's you can say we haven't come to fixed amount of legality on it. But we are registered ourselves in a couple of countries, let's say, and we have rules in place where when any of these things happens from the authority side, we are pretty prepared.
Okay. Can you tell me a little about the countries that you have registered yourself in? Considering you're a DEX, that seems a little unusual.
Yeah, so we have to launch a token as well. I cannot
Right.
reveal as of now. We have to release a token, Chimp, in the future, and I cannot disclose the country per se, but yeah, for that to go hand in hand, we have to go through a foundation and DAO model. For that, we do need a registration to launch that.
All right. Okay. So considering this is something that cannot be disclosed, we won't deal and delve more into that. But I would love to understand. You mentioned that, you don't want to deal and touch with fiat at all. So there's not going to be
Yeah.
any on-ramp or off-ramp solution on
No,
your platform, right?
no. Yeah, because I've seen in the past as well with couple,
That
let's
is
say
where the trouble starts, basically.
yeah. Basically, the trouble starts there, and I've seen it with centralized exchanges which are registered within the country, have complete documentation, and then they start offering on-ramp and off-ramp solutions, and then that's where the trouble starts in, because users, or maybe let's say people who do these illegal practices, they find a way somehow. It can be P2P trading or any other way. If you provide them a link between fiat and crypto, they will try to find a way to cause trouble. So that happens, and we as a decentralized exchange, we never want to get involved in fiat in any way.
Okay. Can you tell me about the, two major challenges that you guys faced while you were building Chimp Exchange?
I would say, because before this we have two versions. We have a cross-chain DEX, we have a encrypted DEX. Cross-chain is already deployed on linear blockchain, and we intend to go towards more EVM blockchain as well, and offer cross-chain as well as encrypted DEX there. But the major challenge that we faced while building Chimp was on 10, because at that time there was no other DEX that was building on it. So we knew that it was difficult to build on 10, since there is no data that comes out of it. So there is no subgraph or any of the DeFi projects to build on it. So it took us a lot of time to figure out, and took help from the 10 team itself. That was one of the technical challenges that we faced, and it took us about a couple of months to just figure out that and launch. And that was one of the challenges. Second challenge is, there is so much competition in the DEX space, let's say DeFi space. Uh, DEXs are launching here and there, and most of them has a similar product, And that is where we're currently working on. We are trying to work on some tools and features that can set us apart and uh, help the real user out there. So a simple user, let's talk about in a DeFi space. They don't want to deal with hundred of the taxes. They just want to trade funds. So like, let's say if you are a user and you want to trade Ethereum or let's say Matic, and you don't want to be shown 10 different exchanges. There just has to be simple interface where you can trade any of these funds, and that's where we're currently targeting, because there are so many altcoins coming in every day. You cannot list every altcoin on the DEX because it requires a lot of liquidity. So we are trying to build a platform where we can offer most of the altcoins in a manner where it is the UI UX feels like a centralized exchange, and also provide these tools for them to make DeFi and trading easier. We will be coming up with a lot of trading based tools as well, which will create an entire ecosystem in itself, which will make it the whole process of DeFi and trading simple for the end user. And anyone coming from Web 2 to Web 3 also can feel the same. So this is the current of the second problem that we are currently solving, and it is still under process. I won't say that we have solved it. Yeah, still under process.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I think it's a dynamic
Yeah.
problem to be solved
Correct.
as it is, so we need to change this every day. You mentioned that, your cross-chain DEX is already
Yeah.
live on Linea, you've mentioned, right?
Yes.
It says
Correct.
ZK EVM, correct?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Can you tell us a little about that, and why did you sort of choose two different chains? Okay, if you could throw a little light on that as well, I think it'll help some entrepreneurs who have this a little bit of a hang up that, when they initially want to
Yeah.
get into a particular niche, they don't want to touch two chains, right? At times they do have that issue, maybe because of resources. Eventually people do that, but initially they don't. And because you guys have done that, I would love to know your perspective as to why you've chosen this path.
Yes, so it was a difficult choice for us, but when we deployed on Linear, I remember the time. It was around July, then we started building on it, and September we were ready with the testnet. So what we did wrong was, I guess, in the beginning, we were very fast with the development and marketing and launch. Projects take 6 months, 8 months to build the product, then take feedback, and then launch it again and do some marketing. It is a bootstrap exchange, like bootstrap project for us, and we did everything very fast. We built the exchange, and we made a balancer fork, and we implemented the UI UX and the whole ecosystem in a way so that launchpad exchange and everything can be accessed by the NFT. So that was the initial concept. We launched it in September and October. By November we were live on the mainnet, and we were very early and fast in terms of deployment, so that we didn't took time to really focus where the blockchain was going. At that time Linea was solving the fee issue in November, and comparing to other blockchains, when Linea went on to the mainnet, they were targeting anywhere around 20 cent to 30 cent around fee. But later, when the mainnet went live, the fee was around $2 to $3 per transaction, and that was very high for the initial users. And we got in touch with the Linear team couple of times around that, and they told us that okay, it'll be taking couple of 2 to 3 months to solve that issue, which they eventually did. But recently, they haven't been able to solve that issue until I guess June. So yeah, so that was a tough call for us, where we wanted to expand, but due to lack of support from the Linea ecosystem at that time, and the trading fee issue, we couldn't move ahead with Linea, and we thought, okay, let's take a pivot and go somewhere, offer users something that is not available in the market. And that's when we came to know about 10 blockchain and the encryption, and we said, okay, are there any other DEXs that are providing encrypted trading? And there wasn't any. So
Right.
we decided to move along with 10.
All right, understood. So, can you tell us a little about the traction that you've seen on the cross-chain DEX so far? Because I'm assuming that, Chimp Exchange is still, because the chain is on testnet, it will be on testnet, correct? And if you could
Yeah.
shed light a little on both, like the traction that you've seen on both the sides, that'd be good.
Absolutely. So when we launched Chimp on Linea, still on the mainnet, it was doing around. Uh, let me just get the data in front of me right now. Uh, yeah, so we have done a cumulative of. We were doing an average of $4,000 to $5,000 a month daily volume, and a monthly volume of, let's say, 400 to 500K. And that was not that good, but yeah, we were doing a pretty good volume in terms of in just within a 1 month of launch. Until now, we are also have gotten a TVL of 25K, which is nothing of that sort. But comparing this was the TVL that we got in the first week itself, and after that we stopped promoting ourselves on Linear.